A few weeks after classes began, the Academy announced its annual festival. Estelle immediately knew trouble was coming, because every important event in novels happened during festivals. Confessions, scandals, assassinations, dramatic misunderstandings. Nobody could convince her otherwise. "You're overthinking." Reynold was sitting across from her in the library. Again. At this point, Estelle no longer questioned his presence. She simply accepted it, like taxes, or gravity. That's exactly what someone says before disaster strikes. "No. It is. No. It is. No." Reynold looked down at his book. "You spend too much time reading novels." Estelle almost choked. If only he knew. The festival arrived. Students filled the academy grounds. Food stalls lined the pathways. Music echoed through the gardens. The atmosphere was lively and cheerful. For once, nothing exploded. Nothing caught fire. Nobody got kidnapped. Estelle was suspicious. Very suspicious. "Lady Estelle." Celine dragged her toward a dessert stall. Anastasia followed. Vincent followed. Theodore followed. Raphael followed. Reynold followed. The stall owner looked terrified. An hour later, Estelle escaped. She wandered into the quieter section of the Academy gardens. Finally, peace. A gentle breeze rustled the flowers. The sunlight filtered through the trees. For the first time all day, she smiled. A genuine smile. Not forced. Not nervous. Just happy. She had a family. Friends. People who cared about her. Maybe things really had changed. Maybe the future wasn't set in stone. Maybe. "You seem happier." Estelle turned. Reynold stood beneath the shade of a tree, green eyes fixed on her. She laughed softly. "I think I am." The mage looked relieved, as if he had been waiting for that answer. And somehow, that made her heart beat a little faster. That evening, fireworks illuminated the academy sky. Students gathered to watch. The colorful lights reflected in countless eyes. Estelle looked around. Cassian stood nearby with his usual intimidating expression. Lucien was trying to buy every dessert available. Celine and Anastasia were arguing over which firework was prettier. Vincent was watching her. Theodore was watching her. Raphael was also watching her, which was slightly concerning. And Reynold was watching the fireworks, until he noticed her looking. Then his attention shifted back to her. Immediately, Estelle's face warmed. For some reason, the fireworks suddenly seemed much brighter. And for the first time since becoming Estelle Lancaster, she wasn't thinking about the future. She wasn't thinking about execution flags. She wasn't thinking about the original novel. She was simply enjoying the moment. Unfortunately, fate had other plans, because hidden among the festival crowd, someone was watching her. And unlike everyone else, their intentions were far from kind. Part 3. The death flag returns. The next morning, Estelle woke up to chaos. Again, a servant rushed into the dining room, pale, terrified, and carrying a small velvet box. The moment Estelle saw it, her blood ran cold, because she recognized it. She had written it, years ago, back when she had still been Fiona Reed. The box contained a royal heirloom, a priceless necklace belonging to the imperial family, and according to the original novel, it was supposed to be found among Estelle's belongings. The crime that would begin her downfall. No. The word escaped before she could stop it. Everyone turned toward her. Cassian frowned. "What is it?" Estelle stared at the necklace. Her hands trembled. This wasn't possible. The scene had happened exactly as she remembered. Exactly. For the first time since her reincarnation, the original story had appeared, and it was targeting her. The news spread quickly. Too quickly. Students whispered in hallways. Nobles exchanged rumors. Servants looked nervous. The academy became a mess. The imperial heirloom was found in Lady Estelle's room. Was she framed? Did she steal it? No way. Then how did it get there? The questions never stopped. Unfortunately, neither did the rumors. By lunch, the entire academy was talking about it. Estelle sat alone in an empty classroom. For once, nobody was arguing. Nobody was competing. Nobody was causing trouble. The silence felt wrong. A knock interrupted her thoughts. The door opened. Reynold entered. Dark brown hair, green eyes, calm expression. As always, without saying a word, he sat beside her. The room remained quiet. Then, "You didn't do it." It wasn't a question. It was a statement. A fact. Estelle laughed weakly. "That confident?" "Yes. What if everyone else thinks I did?" Reynolds didn't even hesitate. "I don't care." Estelle blinked. The answer was so immediate, so absolute, that it caught her off guard. "If the entire empire accused you," Reynolds continued calmly, "I would still believe you." For a moment, Estelle couldn't speak. Because somehow, that meant more than she expected. Unfortunately, the people framing her had made one mistake. A very large mistake. They forgot who Estelle Lancaster's family was. The academy gates burst open. Students scattered. Professors panicked. Several nobles screamed. Because Duke Lucas Lancaster had arrived. And he looked furious. Beside him stood Duchess Diana, Cassian, Lucian, the Emperor, the Empress, Vincent, Anastasia, Celine, Theodore, Raphael. Half the empire, apparently. The principal looked ready to faint. "What is the meaning of this?" The Emperor smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "We're here for Estelle." The principal looked even closer to death. An investigation began immediately. And within 3 hours, the truth surfaced. A noble student. Jealous. Bitter. Obsessed with gaining Vincent's attention. She had planted the necklace herself, just as the original novel intended. The only problem? The original novel hadn't accounted for 11 people losing their minds whenever Estelle was involved. The culprit was caught almost instantly, and the entire scheme collapsed. Just like that. That night, Estelle sat beneath the Academy's garden pavilion. The stars glittered overhead. The cool night air brushed against her skin. She should have felt relieved. She should have felt happy. Instead, she felt exhausted. The original story had finally returned. Even if it failed, that meant it could happen again. "You're thinking too much." Estelle looked up. Reynolds stood nearby. Of course he did. At this point, she expected him to materialize whenever she became emotional. The mage sat beside her. For a while, neither spoke. Then Estelle whispered, "I thought everything would go back to how it was." Reynolds was quiet. The original story. Her voice trembled slightly. The ending where everything falls apart. For once, she didn't hide her fear. And for once, someone listened. Reynolds looked toward the stars, then back at her, and smiled. A real smile. Small. Gentle. Certain. "It won't." "How do you know?" "Because this isn't your story anymore." His green eyes met hers. "You changed it." And somehow, for the first time, Estelle believed him. 3 years later. Estelle Lancaster was alive. Which, honestly, was already a victory. No executions. No betrayals. No villain arc. No tragic ending. Just life. Normal life. Well, as normal as life could be when half the empire seemed obsessed with her. The Academy's graduation ceremony arrived beneath a cloudless spring sky. Students filled the grand hall. Families occupied every seat. Professors looked emotional. Several students looked ready to cry. Lucian was already crying. Nobody was surprised. "Don't grow up." "Lucian, I'm losing my little sister. She's graduating. Not dying." "It's the same thing." Cassian looked deeply disappointed in his brother. Duke Lucas looked deeply amused. Duchess Diana was secretly crying too. After the ceremony ended, everyone gathered in the Academy gardens. The atmosphere was cheerful, peaceful, happy, exactly how it should have been. Then Vincent suddenly cleared his throat. The crowd fell silent. Estelle immediately became nervous. Whenever royalty cleared their throat, problems followed. "Lady Estelle." Vincent stepped forward. His white hair gleamed beneath the afternoon sunlight. Crystal blue eyes calm as ever. "Years ago, I promised that I would support whatever decision you made." Estelle blinked, then remembered. The dinner, the engagement, the promise. A small smile appeared on Vincent's face. "That hasn't changed." He gently removed the engagement ring and placed it in her hand. Gasps echoed through the garden. Theodore looked shocked. Raphael looked shocked. Lucian looked shocked. A squirrel looked shocked. "We were never suited for each other." Vincent's smile became genuine. "But I'm glad we became friends." Estelle smiled back. "So am I." And just like that, the engagement ended. Not with heartbreak, not with tragedy, but with mutual understanding, the way it should have happened from the beginning. Finally, everyone turned. Anastasia crossed her arms, silver hair gleaming in the sunlight. "We can stop pretending." Vincent sighed. "I wasn't pretending. You absolutely were." The crown princess rolled her eyes, then looked toward Estelle. "And now I can officially steal him." The garden exploded into laughter. Even Vincent looked embarrassed. For the first time in his life, as the afternoon continued, everyone slowly drifted apart. Theodore and Celine ended up arguing over flower arrangements. Again, which somehow became flirting. Again, Raphael was being chased by several young noble ladies. Much to his horror, the emperor and empress had somehow started a betting pool regarding future marriages. Nobody asked questions. Some things were better left unknown. As the sun began to set, Estelle slipped away. Just for a little while, she wandered toward the Academy's old observatory, a place she had always liked. Quiet, peaceful, familiar. Then she stopped, because someone was already there. Of course, dark brown hair, green eyes, black robes, Reynold Eckhart. The imperial mage looked up from his book, then calmly closed it. "I was wondering when you would arrive." Estelle laughed. "Did you predict it?" "No." "Then how?" "I know you." The answer was simple, effortless, and somehow, that made her heart race more than any dramatic confession ever could. For a moment, neither spoke. The evening breeze drifted through the observatory windows. The sky slowly turned gold, then orange, then pink. Beautiful, quiet, comfortable, just like always. Finally, Reynold broke the silence. "There's something I want to ask." Estelle immediately became suspicious. That tone never led anywhere safe. "What is it?" The mage looked directly at her. No hesitation, no uncertainty, just honesty. "Would you stay by my side?" Estelle froze, then blinked. Once, twice, 3 times. That wasn't a confession. Not exactly. It was something much simpler, and somehow, much more meaningful. Because Reynold wasn't asking for a perfect romance, or a fairy tale ending. He was asking for her, for Estelle, the person he had chosen long ago, the person he saw behind every title and expectation. A smile slowly appeared on her face. "Only if you stop appearing in random places." Reynold considered it, then shook his head. "No." "Reynold." "No." "That's your condition?" "Yes." Estelle laughed, the kind of laugh that came easily now, the kind she hadn't realized she'd missed. Then she held out her hand. "Then I guess I'll have to put up with it." For the first time, the imperial mage looked completely speechless. Only for a second. Then he took her hand, gently, carefully, as if it were the most precious thing in the world. That night, beneath a sky filled with stars, Estelle realized something. She had spent so long fearing the ending of the novel that she never noticed she had already written a new one. Not as Fiona Reed, not as the villain's doomed little sister, but as Estelle Lancaster, beloved daughter, cherished sister, precious friend, and most importantly, herself. The original story ended in tragedy. This one didn't, and honestly, she liked her ending much better. The end,